up? This is Caroline with the CWC podcast, where we believe that life without your favorite foods is not worth living. I'm going to be talking a lot about my journey to food freedom, and of course I will always keep it real by sharing the good, the bad, and of course the ugly. Welcome back to the CWC podcast. Today I am going to just be catching you all up on everything I've been doing as of lately. The last episode I filmed was like half talking about my craniosacral therapy stuff and half talking a little bit about OnlyFans. And at the time, because it's been a hot minute since that episode dropped, and that episode now is like, I think it's the most downloaded episode I've had since I started this podcast, which was over 100 episodes ago. And I knew that it would be like, everybody would want to know like the details. Everybody wants to know like, what is your OnlyFans account like? How much are you charging for subscriptions? How much money have you made? Like, what does your husband think? All of those questions have been asked like a ton of times, in mostly private messages. But I wanted to do like a whole episode about it. Also, it's been, I think 5 weeks now, or 4, maybe even 4. I don't know how long, but it's been around a month that I've been on OnlyFans. And so I have a lot more experience and stuff to share. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm not going to go into I'm not going to go into like the types of content I'm choosing to post. I'm not going to go into like any of that. Like if you want to see what kind of content I'm posting, you can go and subscribe. But I am going to give you most of all the other details because it has been so fucking fun to do. And I just like to realize like that I've been doing this now for a month, and it feels like it's been much longer, but it's been such a short period of time. And I've moved through feelings about it like very fast. Like when I decided to actually do it, and I'm going to go over like the whole timeline of like how long I talked about doing this before I started an account, what happened when I started my account, and then 2 weeks later and 3 weeks later, and even choosing to post on Instagram and Facebook and even talk about it and like say, this is what I'm doing. Like that was a huge step that I honestly didn't even know that I would eventually take, because it wasn't in my plans. So initially, but the number one question, obviously, that I have gotten is how much money are you making and what have you made so far? And I'm going to be completely honest about that here in the podcast. So far, so in around 1 month, and it's my first month just starting, I've made almost $4,500, which I think is pretty good for your first month. I had no idea what to expect. Like I didn't know. I went into it very much like I did with CWC. Like I had no idea how many people would sign up, what the response would be from like them doing the meal plan for the first time. Like I just didn't know. And it feels very similar to CWC. In my opinion, I think that's really good. I think the amount of subscribers I have for just being 1 month in is really good. And obviously like my goal now is to just grow that, which is why I've been focusing like more of my time onto that. And I'm going to talk about that too. So, okay. I have all my notes. I'm trying to make sure I hit all my notes. And then I had a message yesterday from a girl who asked me some really good questions because she was like wanting to know for her own sake. She was like, I'm really thinking about doing it and I want to make sure my husband's okay with it. Like, what does Josh really think? All this stuff. And you know what's really funny is I I've always felt like I cared so much about what people thought about me. My whole life. If someone thought I was rude or stupid or made a dumb comment about something, I would get so embarrassed and in my head about it. Sometimes I would even make up stuff in my head about something that wasn't even a thing or wasn't even happening. I would assume someone was always mad at me for something. If they didn't text me back, I was like, oh my God, what did I say? I said something wrong. And now I'm having like that vulnerability hangover. Like maybe I said something I shouldn't have said. Like I was always just so quick to criticize myself and to worry about what I was doing wrong in any given situation. And so because of that, I was so eager to fucking fit in and please everybody around me. And at the expense of literally myself for years and years and years. And what happened was I ended up trying to fit into these groups of people that I truly didn't fit into. But I was like sacrificing myself to be liked and fit in. And I want these people to like me and accept me. And that's all I cared about. And in the process, when you are when that's all you're doing and you're living your life based on the approval of everybody else around you and not what you're really wanting or enjoying, like you lose touch with who you really are. And then you just, I don't know. I feel like that is what also kind of contributed to, I want to say my downfall. Like when I had postpartum depression right before I started my transformation, I was just in a very fucked up headspace. Like it was bad. But I had spent so long trying to like be this person that I truly wasn't. And so that's, I start the transformation, everything changed. And then I started my business and I just had self-confidence that I had never had in my whole life leading up to that, ever. And, I want to also make part of this episode about my breast implant illness and just having a chronic health issue that you are dealing with for years, because that ultimately really does play a huge role in why I decided to do this. It will explain a lot. So, when I had this, I want to make sure the audio is going along. Okay. Just want to double check. Having all this self-confidence from my business and my transformation, and I had changed my body and felt really good about myself. And to then have all of that just completely taken away without, I had no say in the matter. Like I was telling my client yesterday that I remember having breast implant illness and not knowing what it was yet, but just, I had no energy. Like I was so fatigued all the fucking time. And no one understood it. Everybody was like, oh, just take an extra energy drink. That's what we do. I'm tired too. No one got it. And I felt so alone during that whole process until I figured out what it was. And I remember going to the gym on days and being like, I am so over feeling so fatigued and not knowing why. Why can't I work out anymore? And I would get to a point where I would get so mad about it that I would try to force myself. My mind was mind over matter. You can go to the gym and you can overcome this. I don't care how tired you are. You're going to work out today. Trying to implement that, mind over matter, whatever you tell your brain to do, your body will follow. And that wasn't happening. I couldn't physically force myself to work out. I remember walking in and just I was exhausted all the time. And if I did work out and make myself, I was so tired that I would feel like I had the flu for a week. And so that is now why I get so incredibly fucking pissed off and triggered when I see people preaching about mind over matter, your mental, be mentally strong. And I'm you must have never dealt with a chronic health issue or anything, because yes, that's true in theory. But when you have someone who has an autoimmune disorder or breast implant illness or just a chronic fucking health, like it's like telling someone with cancer to just get up out of bed and just gung-ho it through your day because mind over matter. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. And that it incenses me when I see that type of content on the internet now. It makes me fucking crazy angry. Because I'm like, you don't get it. You've never had a health issue, have you? And until you do, you will not understand that your theory does not apply to everybody. And so I'm very, very like passionate about that. And that's why I get so fucking worked up about it. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on that. But so having said all that, having gone through 4 years, 5 years, I don't know how long it's been around 4 years of just the breast implant illness was like the first thing. And it really overtook my whole being. It overtook my body. It overtook my brain. There were times I couldn't even remember our animals' names. Like my brain would just stop working. I will never forget. I looked out the window and Josh called me and was like, hey, we're walking Henry up. And I was like, who's Henry? And like, I knew who he was. I knew Henry was our donkey, but I couldn't, it was like my brain cells weren't firing fast enough towards each other. And it was so frustrating. I mean, I would imagine it's what like, I don't know, Alzheimer's or like dementia feels like. I was like, I know this. It's like, I know it, but I don't know it. Like, who's Henry? Tell me really quickly who Henry is. And he was like, our donkey? Like shit like that. So because of, that was one of the reasons, but like, I just like felt like a shell of myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. If I went to the grocery store and anyone looked at me, I would just be like, don't even, like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have small talk. And I still am like that, but it's very, very different now. I just felt like I was like almost having an out of body experience for like 2 years. Like I wasn't inside my body and someone else's thoughts were in my head controlling what I thought. It was very scary. And for a short period of time before I figured out what it was and explanted, I thought I was dying. I remember telling Josh, what if I'm dying? What if this is it? Like, what if this is my body shutting down and I'm going to die like young? And he was like, that's not going to happen. And I'm like, but you don't know that. Like, what is going on? My body is like failing me. And it was so fucking scary. Not just scary, but like to go through that essentially alone. Because at the time I didn't know it was breast implant illness. So I wasn't talking to anybody about it. Like I thought it was just me. And to have doctors, medical professionals like not know what's wrong with you. That's very scary. And it's just a lot. It's a lot on your body. It's a lot on your mental health. So like explanting, I thought everything would be great. And I would go like immediately, literally thought I would just like click back into normal. That didn't happen. I had like a really bad back injury right after, and I don't even know how but I injured my back. I like almost blew out a disc in my L5-S1. So I had to PT that for like 10 fucking weeks. I couldn't like get back into working out yet. This was at the end of 2020, early 2021. I had started drinking, not like a lot, but I had like, I think a lot of people can say that like, maybe if they were sober pre-COVID, like they picked it back up. Like we all were just like using anything to cope when COVID happened. And 2021, I feel like was really rough also because we kept thinking, oh, COVID in our heads. We were like, okay, 2020, let's just get past 2020. 2021 will be better. And then it wasn't. It was worse. And I feel like 2022, I'm a little foggy, but like I feel like it was a little bit better than 2021. But essentially things I feel like just have consistently gotten worse and worse and just different. And I, ended up going through like a whole period of time where I had like chronic UTIs and like couldn't get them to go away. And I was just like taking antibiotics for the infection, which would deplete my good bacteria, which would put me at risk for getting another infection. It was like that was a super fun cycle. That went on for like 8 months. And, and then we like enter 2023. Where I had been through what I felt like was just the fucking ringer with like my health. And I'm like doing all these things, doing anything to just feel good. I just want to feel good. I just want to have energy. I want to go to the gym. I want to have a sex drive. I want to sleep good. I don't want to feel like I'm crazy. I want to feel in control of my thoughts. Like all these things. I was like, how do I get there? And 2023 was a fucking nightmare. I moved my office that was located in Tulsa to my house, which I thought, like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I'm gonna be saving money on rent. I can work from home. I'm in my office right now and I fucking love my office. It's like my space. And then I was like, oh, I'll just get some gym equipment and work out from home. Like, I won't even need to leave the house. Well, for someone like me, that was bad. Like, I became so insular. I did not want to leave ever. That affected my mental health. And then I ended up having my septoplasty and sinus surgery last summer. And for all of you who have followed, like, you know that what a shit show that was. Like, I'm still really, to be honest, like, it doesn't feel like, it feels better, but I'm still having issues. And I've just basically said, fuck it. Like, if I ever feel like going and getting maybe a second opinion, I might, but I'm just like, right now, I don't care. It's not bothering me enough. But I ended up having to have a revision like a month after my fucking surgery. It was, like I don't even remember what he called it. Like bone or something was like forming up here and like very close to my brain. He didn't even realize that until he was like in the revision surgery. But I kept telling him, I'm like, something is not right. I feel it. And we had a CT scan done and he was like, yeah, I need to go back in. So anyway, 2 surgeries back to back, was only expecting 1. And during this time, I had entered into a business relationship that did not work out. And it felt very, at the time, like, I don't know, I feel like I was in a very vulnerable position, like when this all went down. So I wasn't really like listening to myself. I wasn't really trusting myself. And CWC had slowed a lot. Like, I have talked about this. 2023 was so slow. And I feel like it's because, you know, a lot of women are on Ozempic now, which is fine. I'm not even going to like talk about that because it doesn't have anything to do with this episode. But that really hit me. Like, my business is me. Like, I feel I am not that person that's like, this is business. It's not personal. Like, everything about business is personal to me. So I took that really hard. It was like an ego hit. I was like, oh my God, like almost like for a minute there felt like I was like a kid again. It's like, oh my God, no one likes me. No one gives a shit about what I have to say. Like, what did I do wrong? Why aren't people signing up? I took it very personally, but it wasn't personal. Like, the economy is fucking trash still. Everything is so fucking expensive. It's not even funny. Like, Ozempic, like, there's a lot of things playing into this. And I know it's not just me because I talked to my tattoo artist, I talked to my hairdresser, I talked to photographers. Like, everyone is also kind of collectively dealing with it. So I know it's not just a me thing, but, so I, we start having conversations because your income goes from like a certain point to like a lower point. You're like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? Like, I need to start supplementing or like thinking of something else. And at that time, it was like, that was the moment where I was like, CWC is my life. Like, I can't do anything else. CWC is who I am. And that was the first moment I had to really sit back and be like, no, CWC is my job. Doesn't define who I am as a person. Yes, a lot of me, like a lot of CWC is like, I built it off of my own struggles, so to speak. And like, I shared all of my own shit. And like, I relate, and I made a program that is very conducive to a healthy way of transforming your body, which is like getting to eat all the fucking food you like and like have fun and live your life. And ultimately throughout the whole process, like, realize that like just accepting your body is easier than fighting it and hating it every fucking day of your life. And it's okay to work on your body to change it, but you can't like white knuckle it and like starve yourself and live at the gym and do things you hate doing, because that just doesn't work. So essentially, like, that is how I, taught myself how to get where I am today with food and exercise and all that, and my body, by the way, which I'm getting to. I promise I'm getting to the OnlyFans stuff. I know you all are like waiting. But that's like that to me, it was personal because it's like I put everything I had, all the things I ever struggled with into creating this business and helping other women and men achieve this like way of living that we never thought possible. And I'm going to say like as millennials, like we were like brought up in the fucking eat some celery and go run for 9 hours era. Like starve yourself and do cardio. And that's just not it. So with all of that being said, I had been talking about starting an OnlyFans for almost a year. It got brought up to me by someone I knew, and I was like, oh my God, no, I could never do that. I've thought about it, but I could never do that. And to be real, I had thought about it like even before this person brought it up about like, God, I wish I could do that. It would be so fun. And at the very first, like when it was like an idea of mine, my first initial thing was like, I'm married. I can't do that. That was my own first, like, can't do it. I'm married. Like props to all the girls who are single. They can do it. But like, that sounds like so much fun. But like, that would be weird if I did it because I'm married. Right. And so then when it got brought up to me by this person, I was like, oh man, like maybe I will. Like that sounds like it would be fun. And that was the first time I like had a conversation with Josh about it. And I remember, I can't even remember how it went, but ultimately he was like, maybe like do it. Like he was supportive essentially is what I'm trying to get at. And I just remember being like, you wouldn't care? And he was like, no. And, you know, of course we had not gone into, this was not like a realistic, we're going to do this. What's it going to look like? What am I going to post? What are you okay with me posting? All that stuff. And so I was like, well, I don't really even know anything about it. So at that point I created an account just to like go, just to see what it was like. And this is probably where most of you are at with OnlyFans. Like you probably have heard what it's about. You don't really know, like you assume what it is, but you don't really know. And so you're probably scared to even like get an account and look because you're like, oh my God, if I can't even create an account. That's how I was. So I made an account. I mean, this was like 9 months ago. And I just started like looking on there. Well, you can't, unless you know someone who is on the app, you still can't even search. I can't remember. I was searching people, but people were just popping up in my feed. And so I was trying to pick like, you know, workout girls to look at their accounts. And like, there was like fitness models and, you know, athletes. And I was looking at their pages, but I don't feel like it gave me like an accurate representation of what the app really is about because these were all like big name people. And so it was kind of overwhelming. And for that reason, I don't really feel like I got an understanding of what it was. So I was like, whatever. I just like really kind of forgot about it. Couple months passed, it got brought up again. And again, I don't remember at this time how, but I was like just expressing kind of like curiosity, like maybe I do this, maybe I try it. And this was also around the time that like, you know, I didn't have a line of people signing up at CWC. Like I have the entire fucking time since I started this business back in 2017. I have had a line out the door since I started this business up until 2023. Like, so my brain was already kind of swirling of, okay, maybe you try something else, right? It's like, I remember being in high school and I would sit at home and wait for Josh to call me all night. And the second I would fucking fall asleep or like give up waiting and I would like lay my head on the pillow, my phone would ring and it would be him. And he'd be like, hey, come over. Like that, like, I mean, for those of you who don't know, like I was like a booty call in the beginning. Like when we started dating, I was a booty call and like I would wait for that phone call every fucking night. And it never failed. Like I would sit there and wait and wait. I would have my makeup done, my hair done, my outfit on. It looked so cute. And he wouldn't call. And the second I fucking like let it go and forgot about it, the fucking phone would ring. I feel like that is kind of what has happened now. Because now I have a consult scheduled today. I did a consult yesterday. I did a consult, what's today? No, today's Tuesday. Yes. Is that right? Yeah. I did a consult yesterday. I have one scheduled today. Dana had a consult. Like now all these people are like, wanting to sign up for CWC. And I'm like, what? It's because I've now like gone not a different direction. I'm still doing CWC. I still have a whole roster full of my like long time clients. But it's interesting that now it's picking up. Now that I'm supplementing, because OnlyFans is keeping me fucking busy. And so anyway, I'm trying to make this quick. I just need to like, maybe I don't need to rush. I do need to film content today though, after I film this podcast. So I get to my, one of my friends, other friends, brought it up to me 6 weeks ago. And she was like, why don't you have an OnlyFans? Like, I think most people would just assume that you did. And I was like, really? And it was after I posted my Elvis photo and like made it my cover photo on Facebook, like where I just literally had like my Elvis tie on. And I love those photos. And I had made that my cover photo. And I think that's what kind of brought that up from her. And so I don't know what it was, but we were just chatting that day about it back and forth. And I had just kind of been so about everything regarding everything. Like I was ready to delete, and I'm not joking. I was this close to deleting every social media app that I have. I don't know if I actually would have done it because of my business, but like I was over the idea of making a post on social media, any account. I was like, I can't fucking do it. I can't force myself to do this. I do not want, like, it just was like, I couldn't muster anything to make a post because it just wasn't, it's like, oh, I try this, nothing works. I try this, nothing works. I try this, nothing. Like, you eventually just, you get resentful and you get like, I'm just fucking done. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of being a slave to the algorithm. I'm tired of trying to prove that like the program I've created is like the best fucking program ever. And I'm just tired of trying to prove that to people. So like, I'm done. And that is where like, that was the headspace I was in. And a lot of, I don't want to say promotion. A lot of the promotion and marketing surrounding my business with CWC is making posts and making fucking content. And I was just tired of it. And so I talk about being in like a season of life all the time. I talk about this with my clients. Like maybe you're in a season, like my chronic illness, that was a season. When you have a baby, that's a fucking season of life. When you have a newborn baby and you're like, why am I not able to get to the gym 7 days a week? You have a newborn baby. That's a season of life. It will be a season of life at one point and it will be behind you and you'll look back and be like, oh wow. Like, I mean, you have these different seasons of life. And if you're trying to like fit a square into a circle, when you're in a certain season of your life, trying to live a certain way that you just can't, you'll drive yourself fucking crazy. And you can't do that. That's why I always talk about that. So, you know, I had like my transformative, physical, fittest I've ever been in my life season, thinking I had everything figured out. And then I moved into like my chronic illness season of life. And to now I feel like I'm in like my sexual season of life. Like that's what it feels like. And, you know, I've been married for a very long time. And we've, of course, like if you've been married to the same person forever, like you go through ups and downs, ebbs and flows. You go through periods of time where you're having a lot of sex. You go through periods of time where you're having no sex. Like it's just the way it is, I think, across the board for most couples. That's how it has been for us. And I've been through like really, really dry spells. And a lot of it was related to my mental health. And so, you know, I don't know what it was, but this day that we were like talking about the OnlyFans, I was like, I found my body like getting excited. And I was like, we were talking about like random ideas. Like she was like, oh dude, you could post like stuff with your pool, like your waterfall, your animals, your tractor. Like there's so many options that like your house has like so many options. Like you could like bake sourdough with your tits out. Like she was saying all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I could do all these things. It sounds so much fun. Like, and so I really stopped and I didn't try to talk myself out of it. Because typically I try to logicalize everything, but I was like, no, I'm going to like honor how I'm feeling. And this sounds fun and I'm going to fucking do it. So like that was my moment where I was like, okay, now I really need to talk to Josh because if I'm really going to do this, we need to like be on the same page. And if he's not okay with it, like, I'm not going to do it. So I was really nervous to bring it up to him, like, again. But I came home and I was like, I think I want to start, like, I think I really want to do this OnlyFans thing. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay, but like, what are the parameters? Like, and so then we start brainstorming. So I did a photo shoot. I had all of these like amazingly like these sexy photos taken, and I'll probably put some up here. I love these photos. I got to do my whipped cream bikini. I've been wanting to do that for fucking years. We got some like camel content and like farm cowboy hat content. Like we just did so many different things. We did some boudoir, like lingerie type stuff. It was just so fun. And that like, that night that we did that photo shoot, I was like, I am having so much fun. Like, even if this doesn't, and I went into this with I always want to go in with low expectations because I don't ever want to be let down. So I was like, I'm just going to like post these photos on my OnlyFans. I will never talk about this on my Instagram or Facebook. Like that was my first thing. Because like I have my family and shit, like everybody who knows me is following me on specifically Facebook. Now, Instagram, I would feel a little bit more comfortable. This is like back in the day, a month ago. Instagram, I was like, I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about on my Instagram, but like not Facebook. So I start my account. I had all my pictures and I just started posting like photos from my photo shoot on there. And I can't remember the first week I was getting subscribers, but again, you have to have someone's link. Like you have to know someone who has an OnlyFans. You have to know where their link is at. Like you can't search people. So I was like, how the hell am I going to promote this if I'm not like everybody who follows me where I've like established a following is on Instagram and Facebook? Like, how am I going to do this? And it was literally 1 week in and I was like, I want to post this fucking photo. This photo was so hot. Like the one where I'm like sitting down and like the whipped cream is all messed up. It was just, I love that photo. I was like, I want to post this. And at first Josh was like, cause I mean, you could see my nipple like through the whipped cream or it was shaving cream. And he was like, maybe see if like we can get it blurred out. And then post it. But like, he was really hesitant at first. I think it was just a scary jump. Like it was like that first jump off the cliff. And so I had my photographer blur out my nipples so you could not see essentially anything. And I posted the photo and I didn't say anything about OnlyFans. Like at first, I think I just like said something like some new stuff or whatever. So I was kind of like hinting at it. And you know, people were messaging me and asking me when I would tell them what I was doing and then they would go subscribe. So like, that's kind of in the beginning how I was getting subscribers. And like, then, you know, I was like making this, like I was baking and doing sourdough stuff, like topless. And then, you know, as my subscribers were building, I was getting questions and messages like, would you ever consider this? Or like, is this something that you're going to be offering? Or is like, what are you really wanting? Like my subscribers were asking me like, what are you wanting to do with this OnlyFans account? Like, why are you here basically? And I started just interacting and talking with them. And as the questions came in, I was like, I wonder if I would be comfortable doing that. And so slowly over the last 4 weeks, I feel like I've like come out of my shell a lot. And it is so hard to explain how liberating this is. It is the most liberating thing I've ever done. Like, because I'm being vulnerable in a way I've never been vulnerable. And like, on the one hand, I'm making money, so it is a business, but it's also like providing so much freedom for me to be able to do this, like, and have something that's mine. And I was talking about that the other day with my best friend. I was like, having something that is all mine, that I created, I control what I do, like feeling independent and in control is very important to me. And it's like I needed this. And for a very long time, I can remember even from a very young age, like I remember being like a very sexual person. I mean, and I don't think everybody is like that. I think you know, because I would talk to my friends about certain things and they'd be like, oh, well, I don't do stuff like that, or I don't think about stuff like that. And I'd be like, oh, you don't? Like, and so then you start, like, when I was younger, I felt weird. I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm weird that like I'm into this, or I do these types of things. Like, and I would judge myself and then I just wouldn't talk about it. And now, like, being at the age I am and learning a lot just from like even watching John Romanello's stories and having him on my podcast twice and talking about all this stuff, he was kind of like the beginning of me kind of like opening up my own mind to why are we so weird about sex? Why are we so weird talking about it? Like with our kids, why is it so taboo? And that, even just for me personally, has been so transformative, because I would never have thought that I would just be sitting here talking about this stuff on a podcast. Like I had wanted to, but I didn't think I would ever be able to and feel safe or comfortable and like not be embarrassed. And that alone is like, I can't even put a price on that. Like, so this experience has been so fucking amazing to get to explore myself in a way that I never have, with the full support of my husband. I can't even like, because I've had girls be like, I really want to start an OnlyFans, but my husband won't let me, or he doesn't want me to, and he thinks this. And again, I'm not like, everybody's situation is different. And also I want to just interject that like at the end of the day, if Josh was not okay with me doing this, I wouldn't have done it. And I'm fortunate that he is okay and secure, like more than secure, to kind of like toss me the reins. Cause like, you know, week 2 or 3, he was like, do whatever you want to do on your OnlyFans. Like it's your platform. Do whatever you want to do. Like, cause I was running things by him and he was like, I don't need to know. Like, that's fine. You just like, basically you do you. And I was like, just to have that, like, I don't know. And to be honest, I've had this question come up too. Like, has it strengthened your relationship with your husband? 1,000% yes. I don't know how, but it has. Like, and I'm not even saying like it needed to be strengthened, but it has like brought us closer together in a way I did not even anticipate. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna bring it back around really quickly with the health stuff, because when you struggle with a chronic health issue for so fucking long and you're in like such despair with like, am I gonna live? Like, I feel like I'm dying. My body feels like it's shutting down, and it just goes on and on and on. You believe that is like what the rest of your life is gonna look like. Like there were times I would be driving down the highway and I would just be like, is this how I'm going to feel for the rest of my fucking life? Like exhausted all the time. I remember it got so bad that it was affecting my mental health. And I remember we were in the mobile home building this house, and I was in the shower and I like could barely even like bring myself to wash my body. I was just like, who fucking cares? Who cares? Like, why do I need to wash my body? Why do I need to shave? Why do I need to get my hair done? Like, I had like gotten to the point where I was so mentally depressed that I was like, it was affecting my hygiene. And luckily I was like aware enough to know that like that was a fucking problem. I was like, oh shit, like this has gotten really bad. And I, at that point, got on an anti-anxiety. It took me a couple of different ones. I tried Lamictal, that one didn't work. And then I'm actually still taking it's called buspirone, and I've been taking that. I'm taking like the tiniest dose now. I could probably just stop and I'd be fine. But I'm someone like, if it's not broke, don't fucking try to fix it. So like, I don't want to mess with anything right now because I feel really good. But I started an anti-anxiety, which helped a lot. And then honestly, when I got diagnosed with ADHD, which was 2022, in August of 2022, and I got on my Vyvanse, like that was a fucking game changer. Literally a game changer. And I felt like I was able to like do things that most normal people just do that I wasn't able to do before. And so those medications helped. I'll say the Vyvanse like changed my life. But just getting back to a place where like, you know, I had gained 25 pounds and like just finally fucking accepted it. I was like, I guess this is my weight from now on. Like, I don't understand why I gained the weight. I don't understand why it's not coming off. That was a hormonal issue. So like I got all my stuff up here, like sorted out. And then I got my hormones regulated and like leveled out, which took a long time. Like if your hormones are out of whack, it takes a long time to get that shit back level. But that took almost a year. And I got my testosterone where it needed to be. It was like in the fucking dirt. I got my progesterone and my estrogen leveled out, my DHEA, all of that shit. So once I had all these puzzle pieces, like I was putting them kind of all back together, putting myself back together, it was just like to sit here now and like, you know, staying like, I don't want to say like just getting up and putting makeup on it and doing my hair to film a podcast and then film content for my OnlyFans, like to do that and then think of a time when I was like showering and like wondering what was the point of even bathing. Like that's a long way to come. And when you're in a headspace like that for a long time, suffering from a chronic illness that like affects your mental health, and you don't know when you're ever going to be out of it, you kind of live differently when you start coming out of it. It's like when people, they're like, oh, I had a brush with death and now I live differently. I don't want to say it was a brush with death and be like dramatic about it, but in a sense, I kind of do feel like mentally, I did feel a lot of the days like I was dying. If I didn't feel like I was actually dying, I was like, what the fuck is the point of living like this? I feel so shitty every fucking day. Like I feel like shit every day. I'm just supposed to like go on and act like everything's fine. Like that's fucking terrible. And then I feel like I'm faking it half the time because I built this business on social media. I have to like fucking fake everything and come online and act like everything's great. I'm still trying to work out. Hey guys, like I'm still like motivating. Like it was just so fucking painstakingly like awful to feel like, great, I've built this business about creating content online and being online and like showing my face online, doing all these fucking lives when I had the motivation years ago. And now I feel like shit. Like, how am I supposed to like, so I just fought every fucking day for so long, just fought every day, thinking and hoping that something would change. So to now currently I just think differently. Like I don't give a fuck now. I have heard things that have been said through the grapevine, through people I know about me doing OnlyFans. And to be honest, I was so nervous when I started this and chose to talk about it on Facebook and Instagram for this very fucking reason. I was like, oh my God, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to say I'm okay with it. And then I'm going to make a post and someone is going to say something that's going to get back to me. And I am going to feel so embarrassed and so shameful. And that did not happen, like at all. And I've heard multiple things. And it honestly, at first I laugh. And then I'm like, I genuinely don't care. Like that is an amazing feeling. Like I don't care because I know that is like, that's not my issue. That like what someone else says about me doing OnlyFans is not my issue. I know that. So to not have like any judgment on myself feels so fucking good. I honestly didn't even know that this was possible ever. And so, which honestly now has like turned the tables and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to promote all I want now on my Facebook and Instagram. I don't care who cares what I'm doing with my life. I don't care. I don't care. As long as my husband is happy, and he is thoroughly happy, and I'm happy, which I am, and I've been open with my children about it, which, I mean, I've had a very long conversation with Kyler about it. He knew what it was. Now he knows. Like, so, and he's already had friends. Like, his friends follow me on Facebook and Instagram, like his little girlfriends at school. And they were like, oh my God, did you know your mom has an OnlyFans? And he was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, okay. Like, when you destigmatize it and take like the shock factor away, it isn't that big. Like, nothing is really that big of a deal at the end of the day, to be honest. Like, we're all here on a floating fucking rock. Who gives a fuck? Like, I just don't fucking care. And it feels so good. And because of that, I have been able to expand on my platform and do things and post stuff that I never thought I would do in the beginning. At first I was like, oh, I'm just going to post photos. Like, and now I'm getting to like express myself and come up with things that I want to do and ideas for filming. And like, it's fun. I have not had this much fun in years. I am excited to wake up and make content again. I haven't had that in a fucking minute. A long time I have not felt this excited to like wake up and make content. So I'm kind of trying to hit notes. What I like best about it. What I like the most about OnlyFans is the freedom, not being a slave to a fucking algorithm or being so worried about how I post something and I can't type out the word fuck anymore or my account's going to get banned or shadow banned or whatever. Like I can't post this photo because I'll get my account locked, or I can't say this word. Like, that is exhausting. That is exhausting. And to be honest, like I feel like my real, like this is like the real me. I'm getting to just interact with my subscribers and like, hey, what kind of things do you guys want to see? Okay, I'll film that. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have any restrictions. I don't have something like holding me down. And also, like, specifically with most platforms now, they're all like a fucking like service. Like, you have to pay if you want people who actually choose to follow you to see your fucking shit. It's so stupid. So I'm tired of playing all those games, and I'm done. So like, that's probably what I love the most is I get to do what I want and post what I want without fear of getting banned or like if anyone's going to see my stuff. No, if you subscribe to me on OnlyFans, you're going to see my feed. Like, I know that. So that's probably what I like the best. I wrote, all any of us want in life is to feel supported and loved and encouraged doing the things that we want to do. None of us want to feel shame for doing things that we enjoy. And I'm lucky to have that experience, so I'm not triggered one bit by it yet. I already said that. But that's it. Like, that's all any of us want, is to do the things we want to do and not feel like we're judged or shamed for doing that. Oh, I feel like there was one other thing. I've had a lot of questions about like, how are you filming content with the kids home from school? It's tricky. Josh has to take them somewhere. Like today, Kyler had an appointment and then Josh was like, well, I'm going to go to the gym. And I was like, perfect. That will give me plenty of time to like film the podcast and then also do some content stuff. Because I don't film stuff if they're home. Like, obviously, like I wait, I plan my day. Like on Sunday night, I'm like, what day this week am I going to film? Like I need, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. And he'll take the kids and they'll go do stuff and I'll film my content. That's what I've been doing. Obviously, I'll be able to film a lot more when they go back to school. But for now, that's what we're doing. And we're working together to make it work. And it's been very easy. I'm going to talk a little bit now before I end this on how the platform works for a lot of you who don't, or maybe you're wanting to know, like, what is it really like? It is so similar to like Facebook or Instagram. Like you have a feed, you can post to your story, you can go live, you can like message with people. And like I've found, I had heard before I started that like the messages is where like you make the most or you get the most, it's because you're getting special requests. So like I think it was week 2, I made a post on my feed and I was like, I'm going to start doing special request Mondays. So like every Monday, if there's something that you want to see, ask. And you know, you'll have like, I had a few of my subscribers that were like, well, I want to ask for something, but I'm not sure if it's okay. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to know until you ask. So I will, you know, if it's something I'm not willing to do or I don't want to do, I'll just say no. And so that's kind of how that started. And again, that's where like, this is giving me a sense of like, I'm trusting myself. I'm not like forcing myself to do something I don't want to do. I'm only doing things that I feel comfortable doing and comfortable sharing. And, you know, to be honest, that in and of itself has been probably the most, like the biggest part of this that I wasn't anticipating, because for so long, I didn't trust myself. I was constantly asking for validation from my friends. Hey, what do you think about this? Should I do this? Should I do that? When in all reality, like I knew what I wanted to do deep down, but I was scared to do it because I was scared of feeling judged. So then I would ask my friends, well, should I do this? Should I make this post? Should I say this? Should I post this picture? And now like through this experience, I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want. If I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. And I will just say no. Or if I want to do that, hey, I think I will. I don't know. It's very empowering. And it's empowering as a woman to get to explore yourself in a way that you probably would never allow yourself to do. Especially me being married. Like I said in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I'm married. I can't ever have an OnlyFans. And like to be sitting here and like, I don't know. I hope I made all my points. I feel like I didn't talk enough. And I always feel like that. I always feel like what I do is just never enough. And I think that's just a fucking woman thing these days. Like we do everything and then we feel like it's still fucking not enough. If you guys have specific questions that I did not answer or did not bring up, like DM me. I will answer most anything. And like I said, I've been getting a lot of questions from women wanting to do it, but they're fearful. They don't want to be judged. How do I do this? My husband is nervous. I'm nervous. So it's been nice to kind of just like be honest with these women who are wanting to do this and say, well, there's nothing to really be scared of. Like I was scared too, but this is essentially like what I do. I will go through things in my life and figure it out on my own. And then once I figure it out and I do it, I'm going to share about it. And then other people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I was interested in that, or I was thinking about doing that. And I'm just going to be honest with you about the whole process. And so for anyone wanting to do it, like do it. It's fun. You can start it. And if you hate it, you don't have to do it. It's like they said when I did my bodybuilding show or my bikini show, like you'll know the second you step foot on stage if you love it or hate it. And literally the second I walked out and the lights hit me, I was like, I fucking hate this. This isn't me. This is not for me. And I'm sure, like this lady stopped me at the gym the other day and she was like, I just want to say like, I'm so inspired by like this OnlyFans thing. Like she was like, the fact that you're just even posting about it and like talking about it so openly is like, it's really inspiring. And like, you just look really happy. And I was like, I'm having like so much fun. And we started talking about the bikini thing. And I was like, yeah, it's interesting because I would equate those two to be kind of similar, like in like that sexual manner of like, well, I'm stepping out onto a stage and like, in a bikini with, a really small bikini. And like, it was not me. And this feels like it's me. I knew when I started this, I was like, this is fun. Like I didn't have that like, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, I'm nervous. I'm scared. I can't, like, I didn't have that. And if I did, I would have just abandoned it. So now I'm just running with it. But yeah, I don't know, standing up on a stage and getting judged and literally like going backstage and being like, what did I do wrong? Why am I in last place? I worked so hard for this. And I feel like I worked so hard and I felt like I was on top of Mount Everest when I arrived here this morning. And I have 2 kids and literally worked so hard. The hardest I've ever worked in my life was when I prepped for that show. To then step on stage and feel like I'm not good enough, quite literally being told, you are last place, you don't look good enough in this category of women. And then to also be like, what can I do to score better tonight? And then be told by my coach, I don't even want to say this, but you kind of need to like stick your vagina out more when you're turned around. Like, I just remember being like, I prepped for 12 weeks to sculpt my body. And I ate pounds of chicken every day that I fucking hate to sculpt my body. And I took things that I shouldn't have taken to sculpt my body. Literally the hardest thing I've ever done, ever, physically and mentally. To step on stage and be told by a man judging me that I'm not sticking my vagina out enough. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That's what I felt like. I felt like a piece of meat and that none of my work mattered. And that was devastating. That's why, for me personally, I did not want to choose to continue with that journey and try to get approval and fucking votes and fucking someone to validate me that my work paid off. Like, I was angry that I felt so good about myself. And then within a second of stepping on that stage, I felt like a loser. So that is different from what I'm doing with OnlyFans. I feel, I don't know, like I don't feel like a piece of meat on OnlyFans at all. I feel like I'm getting to, again, connect with my subscribers, find out what they like. If I feel comfortable doing it, I will provide that. I'm getting paid to do it. But I'm also, I keep looking at it. It's like, I don't know. I'm just like getting to really explore my sexuality. I'm getting to explore parts of myself I've wanted to explore for a long time. And I feel like it's within this container of there isn't that judgment. Now, I'm sure people from the outside are judging. That's fine. But within the app, it doesn't feel like that. And it doesn't feel like that with any of my subscribers. I have not had an instance yet where like someone has been demeaning or rude. Like, they're all very respectful, and I don't know, like I don't feel bad. I don't feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. I feel so ashamed. Like, I'm feeling very empowered, and it's a very different experience from when I did the bikini show. So, and when you feel empowered, specifically as a woman, when you feel empowered and safe and encouraged to try things or do things that like maybe you once wanted to do, but you were so scared, you then feel like, oh, okay, well now I'm okay to do this. And I don't feel like someone is going to be judging me, and I'm feeling like accepted and like, and it's fun. And you know, I don't know. That's really kind of all I have to say. I was trying to make this 30 minutes. We all know that I can't fucking do that to save my life. So here we are at an hour. If you have questions I didn't answer, DM me. If it's a question that you can comment like under the video, comment and I will answer. But it, you know, at the end of the day, it's really brought it kind of full circle to where like I care about like my hygiene again. I care about like keeping myself looking nice. I'm back in the gym. I'm working out. I'm feeling good. I've got a cycle going now of things that are making me feel good. And I knew at the end of the day, I was in control of all that. I knew I had to like make a change. I knew something was about to change, but I didn't know what it was. And I had a birth chart reading. I had a psychic reading like within 2 months of each other. And both people said the same fucking thing. The lady who read my birth chart was like, oh my God, you're going to have like some like business thing like that is big in like May. And I, at the time, was like, oh, CWC. So it's fucking crazy that that is what has happened. Crazy. Psychic said the same fucking thing. Like they were both spot on. It was weird. I just knew that something was about to change and I didn't know what it was. And yes, it's work. I'm working. Like it's a lot of work. But I'm back in that like mentality of like the work I'm doing is paying off. The work I'm doing is appreciated. The work I'm doing, not that it's not appreciated with CWC, but like for a long time now, it has felt like I'm just like beating my head up against a wall. I'm like literally throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks, throwing money out, seeing what sticks, trying marketing things to see if it sticks. And nothing was sticking. It's like, all right, nothing's sticking. You gotta fucking try something else. So now, of course, that I'm like pretty busy with OnlyFans and I'm loving it, having the time of my life. It's like spilling out of me onto all my platforms. Now everybody's going to want to sign up with CWC, and that's great. I said yesterday in my post, like I'm only opening up probably 5 spots max because I still have a roster of clients. So like with how busy I have been with OnlyFans and my current roster, like I'm not trying to load it up. Like I don't want to be like burning the candle at both ends. That there's no fucking point in doing that. I learned that a long time ago. So I probably will have 5 spots available on my roster. Now, Courtney and Dana and Molly, they have availability on their rosters. So that doesn't mean you guys can't sign up. That doesn't mean we don't have spots available. It just means that on my personal roster, I don't have a lot of space. But it's just funny. It's just interesting how everything starts like fucking coming in and funneling towards you when you've been thinking and wanting that all along. And then like you choose to do something else and it's just the way it is. Like the way life goes. That's just the way life goes. What is that song? Janet Jackson? That's the way love goes. That's that song. Okay. All right. That's it. I will see you guys in the next episode. I'll probably just be talking a lot about OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. I'll talk about other things, but I really am only going to be doing this podcast and talking about stuff I want to talk about. I'm not going to be forcing myself to talk about shit I don't want to fucking talk about. So a lot of what I'm doing right now is pertaining to that. So I may just be like documenting my whole process, but yeah, if you are curious as to what kind of content I am sharing on my OnlyFans, you can go subscribe. I still have promos running. By the time this drops, I don't think the promos will be running, but it's $15 a month to subscribe. I will put the link to my OnlyFans in the notes section in the podcast. That way you can just go click it and it will take you directly to my profile. All right, that's it. I will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you for checking out the CWC podcast. If you want to learn more about our community, make sure to check out the show notes.